My name is Margaret. I'm 81 years old, and there's something I've been carrying for 19 years now. It's not heavy in the way you'd think. It doesn't keep me awake at night anymore, but it's there every day, like a word you can't quite remember, sitting just out of reach. Her last words to me were in Portuguese, and I never learned what they meant. Her name was Elena. She worked in my home for almost 30 years. She came when my children were small, when I was trying to manage a career and a marriage that was already starting to fray at the edges. She arrived one Tuesday morning in 1973, quiet and composed, carrying a single bag. I remember thinking she looked tired, but she smiled when she met the children, and they loved her almost immediately. Elena became part of the fabric of our lives. She was there for scraped knees and science projects, and the afternoon my husband told me he was leaving. She was there the morning my mother died. She was there when my daughter graduated college, standing in the back of the auditorium in her good dress, the one she saved for special occasions. She never asked for much. I paid her. I gave her time off. I thought that was enough. But I never really asked about her life, not in the way that mattered. I knew she had a son back in Brazil. I knew she sent money home. I knew she missed him, but I never asked his name. I never asked what he was studying, or if he looked like her, or if she talked to him on the phone late at night when the house was quiet. I never asked because I didn't think I needed to. She was always just there, reliable, steady, part of the background. I think that's what I'm most ashamed of now. Not that I didn't know her, but that I didn't think it mattered. In the fall of 2005, Elena started getting sick. She didn't say anything at first. She just moved a little slower, sat down more often. I noticed, but I didn't press. I told myself she was getting older. We all were. Then one morning, I found her in the kitchen, sitting at the table with her head in her hands. I asked if she was all right. She nodded, but her face was gray. I told her to take the day off. She refused. She said she had things to do. That was Elena. She never wanted to be a burden. 2 weeks later, she collapsed while folding laundry. I called an ambulance. I rode with her to the hospital. I sat in the waiting room while they ran tests, feeling useless and afraid in a way I hadn't felt in years. The doctor told me it was cancer advanced. There wasn't much they could do. I remember nodding. I remember saying something about treatment options. I remember the doctor looking at me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Pity, maybe, or something close to it. Elena came home a few days later. She was weak, but she insisted on working. I told her to rest. She said resting made her feel worse, so I let her. I think part of me believed that if she kept moving, if she kept doing the things she'd always done, maybe it wouldn't be real. But it was real. and it was happening fast. By December, she couldn't get out of bed most days. I hired a nurse. I moved her into the guest room downstairs so she wouldn't have to climb stairs. I sat with her sometimes, brought her tea, read to her when she asked. But I still didn't ask the questions I should have asked. I didn't ask if she was afraid. I didn't ask if she wanted to see her son. I didn't ask if there was anything she needed to say. I just kept moving, kept managing, kept pretending that being present was the same as being connected. She died on a Tuesday morning in January. I was there. The nurse was there. It was quiet. She'd been unconscious for most of the night. Her breathing had slowed. I knew it was close. I sat beside her bed, holding her hand. It felt small and cool in mine. And then, just before the end, she opened her eyes. She looked at me, really looked at me, and she said something soft in Portuguese. I leaned closer, but I couldn't make it out. I asked her to repeat it, but her eyes had already closed again. She took 2 more breaths, and then she was gone. I don't know why I didn't ask anyone what she'd said. The nurse didn't speak Portuguese. I didn't know anyone who did. I told myself it didn't matter, that it was probably just confusion, the medication, the illness. But I knew it mattered. I just didn't know how to admit that I'd spent 30 years with someone and never bothered to learn their language. After the funeral, I went through her things. There wasn't much. Some clothes, a rosary, a few photographs, and letters, dozens of them, all from her son. I couldn't read them, of course, but I looked at the handwriting, the dates, the stamps. He'd been writing to her for years, every month, sometimes more. I sat on the floor of that guest room, surrounded by her life, and I realized I didn't know her at all. I didn't know what she dreamed about. I didn't know what made her laugh. I didn't know if she ever regretted coming here, or if she ever felt lonely, or if she wished she'd stayed home. I didn't know what her last words meant, and I never would. I hired someone to translate the letters a few months later. I don't know why I waited. Maybe I was afraid of what I'd find. Her son's name was Lucas. He was a teacher. He'd gotten married. He had 2 children. He asked about her health. He told her he missed her. He sent pictures. In one of the last letters, he asked if she was ever coming home. She never answered that one. I tried to find him. I sent letters to the address on the envelopes. I searched online. I asked people who might know. Nothing. The letters stopped being delivered. The address didn't exist anymore. I don't know if he ever knew she died. I don't know if he's still out there, wondering why she stopped writing. I think about her last words often. Not every day, but often enough. I've tried to guess what she might have said. Googled common Portuguese phrases. Listened to recordings. Tried to piece together sounds I can barely remember. But I don't think I'll ever know. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the not knowing is what I'm supposed to carry. I think about all the questions I didn't ask. Not just with Elena, with my mother, with my ex-husband, with my children. In the years when they still wanted to talk to me. I think about how easy it is to assume you have time, to assume that the people around you will always be there, that their stories will always be available, that you can learn what matters later, when it's more convenient. But later doesn't always come, and sometimes the things that matter most are said in languages we never bothered to learn. I'm 81 now. Elena has been gone for 19 years. Her son would be in his 50s, maybe older. I don't know if he ever got the letters I sent. I don't know if he ever thinks about her. I hope he does. I hope he knows she loved him. I hope he knows she carried his letters with her, even here, even when she was so far from home. I don't have a lesson to share. I don't have advice. I just have this, a life that was lived beside mine. A woman who gave me 30 years and a few words I'll never understand. I think that's what haunts me most. Not that I didn't know what she said, but that I never gave her a reason to say it in a language I could understand. If you stayed with me this long, thank you. I don't know why I'm telling this story now. Maybe because I'm running out of time to tell it. Maybe because I think someone else out there might be carrying something similar. If you are, I don't have answers for you. I just know what it feels like to wish you'd asked. Thank you for listening.